we can recharge a number of different ways. We have to recharge by, either physically taking time off and goofing off and having a little bit of fun, or turning around and getting around some people that we really care about, which is the emotional part, or doing something spiritual, whatever that looks like to you. And that's not religious spiritual. That's just connecting with yourself, where you take time and do maybe a nice quiet walk in the park or something. Or you can turn around and do something mentally where it's different than what you've normally been doing. But we have to recharge. We're like a battery. If we don't recharge our battery, guess what happens? It runs out. And what happens when it runs out? It doesn't work, and?
You fall down.
You fall down. Actually, you really do. Illness, sickness, all related to not controlling your energy effectively, right? Because your body gets out of balance, and all of a sudden you do things. You slip up and you trip, and I don't know about you, but if you ever trip when you're at the top, or you're holding a gun, a nail gun, and you're just not paying attention. I shot myself one day, so I know how long that takes to heal. So you can be a little bit off, and it can make a big difference. Or you can be a little bit stressed and carry it for a long time, and it doesn't work over a long period of time. Certainly.
This week, it's only Thursday, and I went through Tim Hortons 3 times this week, and I forgot to order.
Yes, that's called
Something's wrong.
Called system failure. What we do is we actually have a certain way of doing things where we're at our peak, and the minute that we're at overload, because we're working too hard, we're not resting, we're not recharging, we're not rebuilding our resources again so that we can carry on and do our job, we will start to do what we call system failure. In other words, we're the system, we start to fail. We do simple things like that. We get on the highway and we start driving the wrong direction. We do things like we forget to check, and we forget to pick up our kids, and all those little jokes that I made at the beginning of this conversation are real. It happens. Right? Or you turn around and you just can't remember what day it is. You forget anniversaries, you forget birthdays, you forget to feed yourself. I have people that I have to go back to the basics with and say, you got to feed yourself. Do you got it in your calendar? No. Well, how do you know when to eat? I don't know. Do you ever get hungry during the day? Sometimes. What do? Well, I grab a burger, right? Garbage in, garbage out, right? And so we have to have a strategy around that. So you can do a couple things that are really important for yourself to keep your energy up. One is what we call recharging. And recharging, or strategic recharge, is actually putting something in your calendar. The human body can actually only go for a little while, and mind can only go for a little while before we start to deplete. And then after that, we find ourselves with no energy. How many people would like 30% more energy walking out of this room every day? Here's the ticket. Here's what you got to know. If you turn around and think about it, most of us will engage on a task, and we do it for how long? 3-4 hours at a time, right? Sometimes we'll get a coffee break in there, but we're usually 3 or 4 hours on a go, and we're just really engaged doing that because we're trying to get it done. Do. Our whole society's on do. And so what happens is, at the end of that, we've depleted a lot of resources. So what you have to do is you have to break away. A strategic recharge right now looks very simple. And you need to do it every 45 to 60 minutes. My encouragement is every 60 minutes, think about doing something different for 2 minutes. So it's a 2-minute rule. It's a disengagement strategy. Who has computers? Have you ever noticed that your computers freeze up occasionally? And we have to reboot them? You go in there and you find that little button that's almost impossible to see, and you kind of reboot them because they're just not working right. Our brains are the same way. Our bodies are the same way. When we engage, we're running at maximum performance, and we don't disengage, so that the energy just dribbles out of us. If you turn around, take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, stand up, stretch, do something where you're walking away from your workstation or whatever you're doing, and just take a breather and get your brain in a different place for 2 minutes a day, every hour, I guarantee you're going to have 30% more energy.